Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at and installing the Pypes Phantom Series X-Bomb CatBack exhaust with black tips for 2018 and newer GT Mustangs without active exhaust. You're going to want to be checking this CatBack out if you have a GT Mustang that does not have active exhaust. You want something that's going to be very loud and have a ton of volume and a lot of sound, but that's also very budget friendly at the same time. This CatBack costs right about $750. It's made of 3-inch 409 stainless steel, and it definitely delivers on sound and volume. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being a quiet upgrade and 5 being a very loud upgrade, I'm definitely going to call this one a full 5 out of 5. I'm going to call the install a 2 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter, and we'll show you how it installs now. For this install, we used a 3/8 drive impact gun, a deep 15mm socket, a deep 13mm socket, a shallow 13mm, a small extension, a power ratchet, and a rubber mallet. Okay guys, so we are going to drop our CatBack as one big piece. We're going to start up in the front and then work our way towards the back. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to loosen these clamps here. Now you'll need a 15mm socket for that. We're going to go ahead and loosen all 4 of these nuts here. I'm just double checking to make sure that the clamps popped free. If they didn't, you guys can always take a flathead screwdriver right here and just pry them apart a little bit. The next thing that we're going to do is unbolt our 2 sets of hangers. Now you guys have 2 hangers back here behind the rear diff, and there are also 2 hangers over top of your rear mufflers. You'll need a 13mm socket for that. What we're going to do is we are going to remove the bolts, but we're going to leave the hangers clipped into the frame here, and that's going to hold our exhaust up until we're ready to remove it. All right, now we'll remove the bolts back here by the muffler. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. Alright guys, so at this point you're ready to drop your CatBack as one big piece. Now it's going to make things a lot easier for you if you have a second set of hands. I have Andrew here, he's going to help me drop the CatBack down. And what we're going to do is we're going to unclip the hangers from the body of the car, and once that's done, we are going to push backwards on the resonator and then it will drop free from the car. With our factory CatBack off the car, we can take a quick second to compare it to our Pypes CatBack. So the Pypes CatBack is a 3-inch CatBack, and it is made of 409 stainless steel. So the stainless steel is always going to be your best option when it comes to exhaust components because it's going to give you the most corrosion resistance and the longest life out of the product. And because this CatBack is a 3-inch CatBack and we're going to be bolting up to our factory connection pipes, we are going to be using the adapters that Pypes gives us. If you guys are bolting up to your factory connection pipes, you'll be using the adapters as well. One thing I want to point out with this system is that Pypes includes a mid-muffler style setup here. So these are your mufflers right here at the tail end of your X pipe. These are bullet style mufflers. They're straight through mufflers. They're going to give you a ton of sound and a lot of raspiness and a high amount of volume. And because this is a Phantom Series CatBack, this is going to end in black quad tips. So we have a couple things that we'll need to grab off of our factory CatBack and transfer over to our new CatBack before we install anything. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the hangers off now. Alright, so we're going to remove these hangers. If you guys have a hard time getting yours off, you can always use some WD-40 or PB Blaster. We'll get them installed on the pipe system. And then grab our other set of hangers. All right, so now we're going to install our adapters into our factory clamps here on our connection pipe. So I'm just going to slide these into place, and I am going to tighten these clamps down right now too, so you'll need a 15mm socket for that. Next, we're going to install our mid pipe. So I do have 2 clamps in place already on the mid pipe. You're going to want to make sure that you have clamps on any pipes before you connect them. And the other thing I'll say is that the X pipe does have a support bar at the back. You want to make sure that support bar is pointed towards the ground. You don't want to have it oriented so it's pointing up towards the bottom of the car, but towards the ground instead. And I do have a pole jack here that's going to help me get my mid pipe in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide over the adapters here, and then I'll use the pole jack to help hold up the mid pipe. All right, so once again, we have a clamp in place. Now we're going to grab our next pipe. We'll slide that into the end of our mid pipe. Then we'll go ahead and make sure we get our hanger clipped into the body of the car. That's gonna help us keep this in place. And then I'm also going to hand start the bolts in this hanger, because that's gonna make sure that this won't pop out of place, and it'll keep everything loose enough so that I can adjust it, but just hold it in place for me. All right, so now we're going to attach our next pipe. Once again, make sure you guys have a clamp ready. Slide this into place, and then we will grab our tip setup. All right, so we'll get a clamp in place, then we'll get our tip assembly installed. All right, the next thing we're going to do is get our hanger clipped into the body of the car here. And then hand start the hardware. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for the other side. We'll go ahead and get a clamp on the end of our mid pipe, slide the pipe into place, get our hanger lined up and clipped into the body. We'll hand start our bolt here, and then move on to the next pipe. All right, so once again, make sure you guys have a clamp in place. And then we'll grab our tip assembly. As usual, we'll clip our hanger into the body here. Get it lined up so that we can hand start some bolts. And now we can grab our exhaust tips. All right guys, now we're gonna get our tips installed. This is gonna help us line our system up appropriately, because we'll be able to see how the tips are sitting and see where we need to move our exhaust to make it straight. If you guys need to, you can always use a little rubber mallet to help you get the tip on. And then you'll need a 15mm socket to tighten it down. And we'll get our other tip in place. Make sure it's straight, and we'll tighten this one down as well. All right, so we'll get our tips installed on the other side now. Tighten them down. Alright guys, now we're going to go through, make sure our system is as straight as possible, and we're going to tighten our clamps. We'll work from the front of the car to the back, and I have a 15mm socket for our clamps. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this review and install. Keep in mind that you can always check this CatBack out more online right here at AmericanMuscle.com.